Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about not backing down. This is not about in relation to other people or things, but in your own life, in your own diligence. Too often people let up. They tell themselves things that aren't true, like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overworked, I'm exhausted. But a lot of this is in the mind. Actually, all of it is in the mind. And yes, you could point to somebody hundreds of years ago who died of exhaustion, and there's obviously people who can physically die of exhaustion, but that's just not most people. Most people are not putting anywhere near the work in to get anywhere close to that point. There's no danger of that. Most people, the only danger is of them gaining more weight because they're so sedentary, just sitting around all day doing nothing barely. But this is an interesting quote from Donald Trump's book, The Way to the Top. Now, this isn't about politics, so don't post any comments about, well, he said this. It doesn't matter. This is just an interesting point from a guy who's very productive. And he had a teacher who he asked him one day how he was doing. And this is what he says. Trump said, "I told him I needed a break. I was thoroughly exhausted, overwhelmed, and overworked." And the teacher said to him, "Do you know what you should do now?" Trump said this, "I thought he was going to encourage me to take some time off, but instead he replied, 'No, go work harder. Be careful what you ask for because you may get it.'" And Trump acknowledged he was right. If I ask for a break, God may hear me and I may get one, a long one. I took his advice to heart and then started to work even harder. Now, some people will scoff at that counsel because they'll say, well, but you need rest and you need relaxation and all these things. Listen, the average person has so much built-in entertainment, relaxation, and rest into their days that it's absurd. Even if you looked back 100 years ago, the work ethic that people had compared to today is off the charts ridiculous. Now, productivity is higher because we have we have computers, we have equipment and robotics that does so much. And yet the average person living in an age when they could do the most that any society has ever been able to do in any time in history, and they're needing breaks and they're taking days off and I got to have some rest and I got to spend time with my family. And that all sounds good, and everybody likes to talk about, I got to spend time with my family. You don't want to be an overworker. You don't want to get yourself exhausted and overwhelmed. But you can do that, spend time with your family and do the things you need to do, and still be a diligent worker, not be someone who is indolent. And one of the issues is that many people are comparing their work ethic to other lazy people's work ethic. Now, I believe if you're watching a video like this, you're not a lazy person, but you may have pulled back. Because very often in life, when people get to a level of success, even if it's not exactly where they want to be, they still want more. There is a pulling back, a feeling as if, I don't have to work as hard anymore. And almost as if they can just coast through life now. And it's a very common thing, and it happens to almost all entrepreneurs get to a point where they have to redouble their efforts. And as Trump was talking about here, where he's talking about he's exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, he's overworked. He's talking himself into a place that is not good for a person who is productive. But instead of getting the counsel that he would have got from every other person, you just take a break, you're too hard on yourself, and they tell them all these things because they really secretly don't want that individual to be successful. They want them to be dragged down to their levels, the crabs in the bucket mentality, pulling them down. And yet, no, he didn't get that counsel. He got the counsel to, no, go work harder. And that's a powerful, powerful truth. The scripture talks about go and observe the ant. It tells the sluggard to observe the ant. And if you look at ants and look how they interact and look how they work, it is a constant motion, activity, productivity. They're doing stuff. They're constantly in motion and doing. They're not taking, you don't see ants sitting around taking a break. You don't see ants talking about, I got to go spend time with my family. You don't see ants talking about, I'm thoroughly exhausted or overwhelmed and overworked. They're diligent, working. Now you may say, well, I don't want to just work all my life. I have other things to do. Of course you do. But too often people have put work down as if it's a lesser thing. It's something you just got to get through to get to the real part of your life. Work is an integral part of your life. It's a good part of your life. It's a blessing. It's an honor to be able to work, to be able to be productive and do things daily, each and every day, doing what you do as if you're doing it unto the Lord. But people don't look at it that way. And they don't put the effort in that they know they should. And all you got to do is look around. When you talk to most people, if you talk to them like this, about hard, diligent work, the average person is going to tell you you're wrong. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to get, I've seen people burn out. And they'll tell you all these things. But are they the people you want to listen to? Because they have all the rest and relaxation and their lives are miserable. At some point, you have to realize that obviously the rest and the relaxation, these things that people talk up, entertainment, those are not good, integral parts of your day. Those are curses. Those are things that are dragging you down. Obviously, you need to sleep. You need to get proper rest. That's obvious. But I'm not talking about that time. Although many people do sleep too much, and that's a whole other issue. But I'm talking about the waking hours. Your waking hours of your day shouldn't be consumed with social media, video games, listening to worldly music, and news, the media, all kinds of videos that aren't productive and aren't benefiting and blessing you. And yet that consumes most people's waking hours, even when they're working for someone else. All the studies show that the vast majority of people working 8 hours for somebody else really are only working about 4 hours, maybe, and that's really probably stretching it. They're walking around from place to place, go to the water cooler, go take a break, go do this, go do that, and they've wasted hours of their day doing nothing. They just sit there staring at the screen or doing whatever. There's not a whole lot of productivity, really, if you boil it down, as far as actual hours being used for productive means. But there's way more than that, sometimes double that, depending on the person, in watching each day. Double the hours are spent on entertainment, video games, movies, and all these things, sporting events. And please understand, yes, you need rest. Yes, you need relaxation. You need recuperation. But stop telling yourself that you're exhausted, that you're overwhelmed, that you're overworked, when you know in your heart you could do more. Because that mindset creates the whole physical reality of feeling down, feeling overwhelmed, feeling overworked. And it limits you. It puts a stopper. It's a roadblock from you becoming more and being more. But if you have that renewed desire to honor God with your life, to do the right thing, and use all that great amount of energy you have each and every day that you've been blessed with for productive things, when you'll do that, and yes, it may cut into your entertainment time and your relaxation time, but you'll find a renewed energy. That feeling of overwhelm and exhaustion will go away, especially when you stop saying it and you start talking about how productive you are, how diligent you are, how much you are enjoying your work, and how blessed you are and honored you are to be able to work. That gratefulness and the diligent heart will bring great results. And that is one of the things holding many people back. It's not because of their intelligence. It's not because of their knowledge or lack thereof. It's a lack of effort. Now, you may have attained a level of success, and that's great, but don't stop there. Don't let up. Keep pushing forward and get more and more done. And be diligent and be blessed that you are able to work and are able to be a blessing and to be a productive, beneficial person on this planet. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.